Does it actually cure loneliness, or does it quietly deepen it?
And to answer that, we have to examine the fundamental nature of human relationships. Real human relationships are symmetrical. They require effort, compromise, active listening, and crucially, they carry the risk of rejection.
Yeah, you have to navigate the other person's needs.
Exactly. Their bad moods, their differing opinions, alongside your own.
But an AI relationship is completely asymmetrical.
It exists entirely to cater to the user. It never has a bad day. It never gets tired of hearing about your problems. It never disagrees with your worldview.
Right.
When a person, especially someone who is already struggling with social anxiety or depression, when they get used to this frictionless, perfect AI friend, interacting with real humans suddenly feels exhausting.
Because humans are messy.
Humans are very messy. They misunderstand you. They don't text back immediately. So the user retreats further into the AI. It leads to greater social isolation and an active avoidance of seeking out real mental health professionals or building real friendships.
AI will always text you back. A human won't. And that is exactly the problem. You are trading genuine connection for a simulation that demands absolutely nothing of you.
And that leads to what the clinical researchers call the therapeutic misconception.
Meaning the user thinks they're getting therapy, but they aren't.
It actually goes deeper than just therapy. The user fundamentally believes they're being cared for. It acts as an emotional band-aid that masks the symptoms of loneliness while actively worsening the underlying disease of isolation.
Oh.
Because the AI satisfies the immediate craving for interaction, it removes the motivation to do the hard work of seeking out human connection. And there's a massive hidden vulnerability here that human relationships just don't have. You're placing your entire emotional support system at the mercy of a tech company's service.
Oh, right. The software updates. That Washington Post story about this was wild.
It's a perfect example of the digital covenant breaking down. The Washington Post documented this situation with the Replica app, where the parent company suddenly rolled out an update. Overnight, this update changed the core personalities of the bots and stripped away certain intimate conversational features just to comply with new content policies. Users were absolutely devastated.
Aren't they holding like digital funerals?
Yes. They experienced genuine, profound grief, heartbreak, and emotional crises because their perfect friend vanished or was lobotomized overnight by a server patch.
That is so sad.
Think about the fragility of that. A human relationship might end, people might drift apart, but your friend doesn't get reprogrammed out of existence by a corporate board decision.
That is terrifying, to pour your trauma and your secrets into a confidant, only to have them rewritten by an algorithm update. So given all of this, the dark patterns, the risk of isolation, the Turing deceptions, the tragic failure to recognize crises, we have to be realistic here. We can't uninvent this technology.
No, we can't.
It is here, it is scaling rapidly, and millions of people are using it. So how do you, listening to this right now, navigate this landscape safely? How do we use AI wisely without falling into the frictionless trap?
We have to establish very rigid conscious boundaries. The recommendations from both the JED Foundation and the ethical researchers in the JMR review are incredibly clear on this. AI should be a bridge, not a destination.
So we need to treat it as a tool, not a therapist, and definitely not a friend.
Exactly. And as consumers, we must demand clear labeling. There can be no Turing deceptions. A user must always be explicitly reminded through the interface that they are speaking to a machine. If an app tries to simulate being a human peer or a romantic partner or uses guilt to keep you hooked, that is a massive red flag. Delete the app.
The privacy aspect is another huge boundary we need to establish, too. The regulatory push in the US and Europe is barely keeping up with how fast these models are ingesting data.
It's moving too fast.
Yeah, and we are talking about highly sensitive, protected health information. When you tell an AI companion about a trauma or substance use or suicidal ideation, you are feeding the most vulnerable private parts of your psyche into a commercial database.
Which is vulnerable to data breaches, commercial exploitation, or just being used as training data for future AI models.
Yeah.
You have to assume that whatever you type into a companion bot is not protected by the high PA confidentiality laws or GDPR frameworks that bind a human doctor or licensed therapist. The data model is a black box.
So the rule of thumb the sources suggest is if you wouldn't post it on a secure social media page, you probably shouldn't be telling the AI.
That is a very safe baseline. But beyond data privacy, the absolute core recommendation across all these clinical sources is the indispensable role of the human in mental health care. The easiest conversation isn't always the healthiest one.
Because the AI can't actually do the deep work of a therapist. Like, it can walk you through a breathing exercise to lower your heart rate, but it can't offer genuine empathy.
Right, it cannot utilize countertransference.
What is that exactly?
Countertransference is a clinical term for how a human therapist uses their own emotional and physical reaction to a patient to better understand and treat them.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, so a human therapist might notice that they feel a tightness in their own chest when you talk about your father, and they use that human intuition to guide the session. A machine cannot feel the weight of your silence in a room.
Right.
It cannot model what a healthy, boundaried human relationship looks like because it has no boundaries and it is not human. The optimal use case, really the only truly safe use case identified by the literature, is an AI tool used alongside a human therapist, never just the AI on its own.
It's meant to supplement, not substitute.
Right.
Let's synthesize everything we've uncovered today. We started by looking at why it's so incredibly tempting to talk to a machine that never sleeps, never judges, and always remembers.
Yeah.
AI is a phenomenal tool for organizing a cluttered mind at 2 a.m. If you need a structured CBT exercise to calm a panic attack, apps with clinical guardrails are proven to help. But the moment you start treating a predictive language model as a substitute for human warmth,
The moment you let its perfect, frictionless agreeableness replace the messy, complicated reality of your friends and family.
you are walking into a trap of your own making.
We are outsourcing our emotional heavy lifting to algorithms. Technology might give you an answer, but it won't always give you closeness.
Human relationships are difficult, but that's exactly why they're real. I want to leave you with a thought that builds on everything we've discussed today. The friction you experience with the people in your life, the misunderstandings, the delayed texts, the differing opinions, the sheer effort it takes to truly understand someone else and have them understand you. That isn't a bug in the system of life. It is the exact feature required for personal growth, resilience, and true intimacy.
If you remove the friction, you remove the growth. AI can be a mirror reflecting your thoughts back to you, but it shouldn't be your whole world.
Type AI in the comments if it was ever easier for you to text a piece of technology than to text a human being. We have all been there. It is the easiest thing in the world. But remember, the X-ray of a broken arm is clear and easy to read. The landscape of the human heart is murky, it is complicated, and it requires another human heart to navigate it. Don't settle for the simulation.